Hey everyone, it's me, Arthur Kade, and we're at the Jacob Javits Convention Center for New York Comic Con. We'll be bringing you interviews with the stars of some of the hottest shows here, so get ready for a great time behind the velvet rope. It became the show of the summer, taking us inside the world of hackers and cybersecurity. We had a blast chatting with the cast of Mr. Robot. This is such a culturally relevant topic right now, being able to tell it through this show. Talk to me about that meaning.
It's something that I think people are yearning for, and that's why they've responded to it. It's very entertaining as a show, but there are so many conceits that I think people are dealing with on their own, and they like to see in front of them when they sit down being dealt with in an entertaining way.
It's been certainly unique. We made the pilot, and this culture really hadn't been. It wasn't at the forefront of anybody's brain. But then the Sony hack happened, and all of these things. It's been like one event in the news after another. You see it in the paper every day. This person being hacked and this company being hacked. So on the one hand, it's great for the show, but scary to be in the world like that.
It's been great. It seems like the show kind of foreshadows a lot of hacks, which has been really weird. Like the Sony hack hadn't happened, when we started filming the pilot, and then after that kind of unraveled, it kind of seemed like all these hacks started happening, and it's been really cool being a part of something that's really relevant and timely.
Well, I think, as Sam said, a lot of people said, well, this show is going to be outdated in like 3 years because of technology and stuff like that. But he said, well, I don't care because I want it to be relevant now because this is our time we live in. So I think that's a great thing, not trying to be like we're going to be relevant forever. But this is very like a periodic piece. And I think that's a part of the popularity, that it's right here, right now.
It's got to be a thrill to see the success it's had.
I mean, yeah, it's really mind-blowing. I mean, when I first wrote it, it's a really weird, strange character and world, and I just thought, I was just shooting for a cult hit. I was like, let's just get a cult, and it kind of broke out, so it's exciting, and, I'm obviously humbled and grateful for it.
Mr. Robot.
All hail the king, because Bruce Campbell returns as Ash to battle the evil dead in Starz' new series based on the cult movie favorite. Now let's check in with the cast of Ash vs. Evil Dead. How does this become a TV series? Obviously, it's this cult favorite movie syndrome, and then it becomes a TV series.
In a way, it makes sense.
It does. I like it.
Because if you really, the fans, because it's so fan-generated, this return of Ash, that you got to give them something over a long period of time. The only way you can do that, only made a movie every decade. I mean, we don't crank these things out. If you really want to give the fans what they want on a weekly basis, it's got to be a TV show. So it's good because now we can flesh the character out and tell a big story, a big, evil, gnarly, entertaining, funny story.
When you get to work on a franchise like this, obviously the Xena fans were extremely fervent. Talk to me about the fan reaction with this.
I just find that it's really male skewed, and they're like a car. They sort of pump and tell us. They hang on every word Bruce says, like he is their god, like he's such a dumbass. Well, Ash is a dumbass. He's a bit misogynistic. He's a loser, and all our fates depend upon him. He's irresistible.
Pablo is Ash's best homie, sidekick, and ultimately through working at the value stop, he realizes that the evil he was warned about as a kid by his family actually exists, and that he really believes that Ash is the guy that's going to save the world from all of this evil. And I think that Pablo is just so idealistic, and he's searching for himself. He wants that ultimate American dream, coming from Honduras, living in America, and he's searching for himself, but he realizes through idolizing Ash that he doesn't want to be like Ash, but he wants to be like that kind of a man, a confident man who can save the world.
How cool is it to be joining this and seeing it made into a TV show?
It's so overwhelming. I need a new word for overwhelming, and in the best possible way. I mean, coming into this, it was very intimidating because it's something that's so loved and appreciated, and Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi were so gracious in welcoming us newbies into this crazy world, and Bruce took us under his chainsaw wing and showed us the ropes.
You get to work with Sam Raimi. I mean, that dude.
That's a dream.
That dude is the best, right?
He's so, and you know what's great when you meet someone that just has a heart of gold. His touch is so, he has such a sweet touch on set, and it's not just respectful to the cast, but also to the crew as well. And he gets his shots, but he just does it in such a nice, gentle way, and you feel like it was your idea, but it wasn't really your idea. But he gets his shots.
He's like, my movie's made $3 billion. It was my idea.
It was my idea, but I'll make you think that. Yeah, but no, it was amazing. A dream come true.
I am the showrunner, so I kind of oversee the writing and the writers in LA, and then had to travel to New Zealand a bunch to.
Bruce was telling me the production value is going to be terrific. He's like, the Kiwis had it right.
They got it down, yeah. I mean, the one tiny problem is how far away it is, because it's usually, you're doing a show in LA, you can walk down the hallway and say, okay, this is right, maybe we change this a little bit. That's a lot harder to do when it's 14 hours away from Los Angeles. But the crew down there, and Rob Tappert, who produces it down there, are top-notch people and producers and crew.
The new series from Steve and Nancy Carell is a hilarious take on procedural dramas with Rashida Jones at the helm. We chatted with the hilarious Rashida Jones and the cast of Angie Tribeca. One of the things that's hard is to be funny, and yet you guys have to be dead serious in order to be funny.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the challenge of doing that and still creating comedy.
Yeah, it's definitely a new thing for me. It's very technical because, there's all this wacky stuff happening around you, and you just have to be really still and sell the seriousness of the moment. And it's not as easy as I thought it was going to be, because it's so easy to enjoy and watch. I thought it was going to be easy to do, but it's really not. And I have a whole new respect for this kind of comedy. Leslie Nielsen obviously is a god and knows how to do this very well, knew how to do this very well. But it was challenging.
Well, Angie Tribeca is unlike anything I've ever done or seen on television. It's sort of, it's a cross. It's sort of a Naked Gun sensibility, but it looks like CSI. So the premises are all completely bizarre, but shot and staged and taken by us deadly seriously. So we never acknowledge that what we're doing is at all funny, but it's incredibly crazy and big and stupid.
You've got two great minds behind it, Steve and Nancy. Talk to me about getting to get them to put you in a show and working with them.
Super amazing. I feel really grateful that they took a chance on me, because everyone else in the cast and all of our guest stars are kind of established in their careers, and this is my first show, which is so exciting. And it's just really validating to have the funniest people ever be like, yeah, come be in our show, because they are really Steve Carell, we all know, is so funny, but Nancy is maybe the funniest human on the planet.
Based on the successful movie franchise, TNT's The Librarians follows a group of librarians on an adventure to find ancient artifacts. Check out what the cast of The Librarians had to tell us. This is such a cool show, The Librarians. Talk to me about being part of it, going into season 2. It's got to be a blast.
It's a blast, and especially, having come to Comic-Con last season where people were not familiar with it yet versus this season where it's garnered this huge, fan base. It's fantastic. And I love, coming from the X-Men world, I love working in genre. The genre fans are the best fans in the world. They're just so enthusiastic, and as actors, we're eager to get it right for them. You don't want to mess it up.
The production value of this show. This show it's so beautifully done. Talk to me about being able to make essentially a movie-like television show.
And that's what it is, right? Every episode is like a little movie because the departments that take care of those special effects are so good. And Dean Devlin, the creator and executive producer, has such a history of being able to do that, and it's found ways to do it semi-economically, but still big effects. As actors, we don't necessarily get to see that until after the product is done, but knowing what we have done, the world is open to that because of the technology today. We can do anything.
Comic-Con, Librarian Season 2. Talk to me about, first of all, being able to be part of this hit show and what people can expect.
Listen, man, I've done these for over 15 years now. I love coming out and saying hi to the fans. I'm one of them myself. I geek out whenever I see all these people walking around. I just do. It's just I'm a comic book video game guy. I always have been. So for me to be able to do this from Angel to Leverage to the Librarians, it's amazing. And a lot of times you do one and then you get to keep coming back because of that one. I got a whole new show that I get to talk to the fans about, which is the Librarians, and it fits right into this genre. So I'm very fortunate, man. This is where I love being, and over 15 years I've been fortunate enough to be a part of this genre.
You get to work with such a great cast. I was just telling John Larroquette, I grew up on Night Court. I'm like, dude, you're like my favorite. When you get to work with people like him, Rebecca, Christian, talk to me about that.
I grew up on Night Court too. John Larroquette is
the
coolest, and to be able to work with him, it's like going to comedy masterclass every day. I forget that I'm working half the time, forget that I'm in the scene with him, and I'm not supposed to laugh at what he's doing. He's just an extraordinary actor, an extraordinary person, and he totally puts up with me fawning all over him, which I'm very grateful for because I'm relentless.
What can people expect in Season 2?
The shackles are off. The creatures are bigger, monsters are scarier, Ezekiel is wankier. I think, you're going to get to see, now that they've graduated, the idea of magic is no longer as absurd, so you're going to get to see this whole new world open up to them now that they're actually not cynical about the idea of magic. So, we're going to delve in deeper into the history of it and get to play alongside fictionals, which is amazing. Didn't bring my favorite book character to life this season, maybe next year. BFG, Big Friendly Giant, a big Roald Dahl fan. But I don't want him to be a villain. I just want him to be like our mate. Like, if we could just go get beers and hang out, like that would be awesome. I don't want to actually fight him. That would be cool. But no, Moriarty, played by David Lee, he does such an amazing job as the character from the fictional, and we had Richard Cox come in and play Prospero, and then all these other characters came in as well, and we have such amazing guest stars. It's such a joy to work with these people.
I was just talking to Rebecca Romaine about this, and she remembers in Season 1, it was just building a fan base, and now you guys have this enormous panel, and it's incredible to see the growth, right?
It's wild, but I think the thing is, the show is made by people who actually attend these things as fans. So there's not this cynical attempt to try and say, well, what are the kids going to like? We're super nerds. When I was 17 years old, I came in second place in the costume competition in a robot costume. So we're the real deal, and I think the audience felt it. They felt it when they saw the show, and they embraced it. And so now they're here, and we're all geeking out together.
Lost creator Carlton Cuse reteams with Josh Holloway on this futuristic story about freedom and family. We caught up with Josh Holloway and the creators of Colony. Reteaming with Carlton Cuse, that's pretty cool for you, Josh. And
yes,
guys,
it is.
This show looks great. So talk to me about Colony. What can people expect?
I think what people can't expect is the typical alien invasion show. That's not what we're doing. Our show is really about occupation and colonialization, sort of a metaphor for Paris in World War II, you know, where you had Nazi stormtroopers marching through a city and people would be sitting in sidewalk cafes and drinking espressos. The incongruity of people trying to lead their normal lives under this new regime, that's really what our show is about. It's kind of an espionage thriller with a science fiction background, but it's really a people story.
Josh, what drew you to this? Obviously, Lost, you teamed up with Carlton, mega hit, one of my favorite shows of all time. What drew you back with this?
Big storytelling. And Carlton, I trust him so much as an artist, and we've been trying to work together for many years since Lost, and this came along, and I was like, wow, bam, there it is. There's the mystery, the big storytelling that I miss. And I love not knowing anything. It works for me because I've been trained that way. Yeah. So this is perfect. This is absolutely perfect in that, you know, the audience knows as much as I know. So the mystery unfolds instead of, you know, the other way around. I don't know anything that you don't know, so it's good. I like that.
Josh, talk to me about telling this story and putting it together, because I think it's very relevant to today's social times.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, the great tradition of science fiction is always to kind of, you know, cast a mirror back at society and explore issues and themes that would not otherwise be, you know, people wouldn't otherwise be interested in. This idea, like Carlton said, about colonialization and occupation is something that has affected not just the people that were occupied by the Nazis in France, but societies and cultures through, you know, through all of human history, and being able to explore that in a modern context, where we are the, you know, much like the South American Indians were when the conquistadors showed up in the 1500s. Suddenly, people come with steel and gunpowder and ships, and they've never seen this before, and they sweep through their lands and basically conquer them with 500 people. We were fascinated with this, you know, hugely advanced culture coming and taking us over, and then putting a human government in charge, so that your villains in the show are much like the Vichy in France were, the people that were on the ground that decided to collaborate with the Nazis. Those were the fascinating villains to us, the people that turn against their own kind.
Based on the cult movie hit starring George Clooney, director Robert Rodriguez brings the adventures of the Gecko Brothers to his El Rey network. We had the opportunity to speak with the cast of From Dusk Till Dawn. From Dusk Till Dawn.
Team A?
Yeah.
Don't make a noise. It's silent. It's more powerful. See?
That was so underrated.
Did you feel that?
I did.
That?
I felt the power. Congratulations, guys. Your first time here at New York Comic Con. How insane is it?
It's crazy, man. We're really proud of the show and really excited to get to see, you know, Comic-Con in general and just bring the show along to a giant panel. So it's exciting.
I had DJ in studio, but I've never spoken to the two of you. How cool is it to be part of this revival of this really cult and iconic brand?
I think it's so much fun because we really get to bring new life to it. And we're getting to bring these characters that people already know and love. Well, not Ranger Gonzalez.
Nobody loves me.
Nobody loves Ranger
loves
Gonzalez. Well, nobody knew about you.
Yeah.
But we're getting to bring new life to these characters that people already knew and love, and I hope they love us too.
What's it been like for you guys working with Robert Rodriguez? I mean, talk about iconic. That dude's the coolest.
Yeah.
Well, he's always kind of been one of my filmmaking heroes. Even before I knew I wanted to be an actor or a filmmaker, from El Mariachi, and I just saw it and I was like, oh, what is this? It's just amazing. And then to hear the story and read his book and about his whole process, and then to finally be able to work with him. I mean, I've been trying to get on his movies forever. And now to be on this show is kind of like the perfect timing, and for me it's a dream come true, and I'm learning so much from him and from his team and from these guys, because these guys are brilliant. I couldn't ask for a better team.
As for you being a young actress, it's got to be so cool. I mean, he's worked with so many great actresses who he's broken out on many levels.
Mm-hmm. Robert he just is so good at what he does. And what he does is he does shock and awe, and he has his own style unlike any other director that I've ever worked with. And working with him is a dream. He's so nice as a person, and he brings out his guitar and we sing and we play the guitar in between takes, and I've never done that with anybody. And I mean, I've been working since I was 7, and this is really the first time that I've felt like this is my home and these are my family.
I've got Team B from Dusk Till Dawn, although Team B for better. You
man.
told me for
Exactly.
better.
Best.
I like that.
Better.
Tell me why you guys are better than who I was just talking to. Give me reasoning.
Well, I didn't even really pay attention to who you were interviewing, to be honest.
Who
Was it
cares?
is anybody that's not the three of us,
They were
right?
they were the
So-
Walking Dead cast, I think, or something, right? Like
It was someone else, right? I no, don't know.
I mean, I did notice. I guess we are
Team better.
Team, we
Badass.
yeah, we're the Culebras, right?
they were
Team
kind of
B
like
for badass.
they were like the good kids, but I feel like this side embodies like the dark, edgy side, and that's the
evil.
cooler part, of course.
Dark and edgy is a perfect way to also describe your show, by the way. And congratulations. I was just talking to them, and I want to get feedback from you guys. You get to work with one of the coolest directors on the freaking planet, Robert Rodriguez. Talk to me about getting to work with that dude. It's got to be just the coolest.
He's badass. He does everything. Like, he's super resourceful. He's really high energy, and he's really laid back at the same time. So
Yeah.
like, I really respect that guy.
It's been amazing. You know, it's such an huge thing for us as a cast because, you know, reboots are a hard thing. And for us, I think what a better way to do a show based on a movie with the same director and he's revisiting his own work 20 years later. And so you can see the passion that Robert has for this project. You can really share it with him and see how much love he's had for this project for so many years. And so now he's just like, he goes to set, he enjoys the time with us. He just like really goes into every little detail, checks lighting. He's just such an artist, such a creative mind, and being around that energy is so positive for us. And I think that shows on the screen. I think that we all enjoy being around him. We enjoy working with him. We are blessed and lucky to have him around us, and just learning every moment throughout the shooting, you know, learning every single thing that he can we're trying to like rip it away from him, and you know, it's so fun. I mean, we really have a great time.
Yeah, for me, I mean, everything for the show, as far as Robert has been involved, has been from the get-go. Like, he runs the network. He directs most of our episodes. He directed the original film, obviously. My first meeting to get this job was just me, Robert, and the casting director. Usually with, you know, a TV series or something, you have to kind of be approved by a bunch of people and jump through a bunch of hoops to kind of get a job like this. But because Robert is so involved and runs the show, I met with Robert, read with DJ, that was it. And then I was Richie Gecko, and he's kind of been involved like that from there all the way to where we are today. So it's been a really cool experience, and I'm just glad to be able to work with him.
Former Daily Show correspondents Jason Jones and Samantha Bee used their family life as the basis for TBS's newest comedy. We caught up with Samantha Bee and Jason Jones from the Detour. This is like your family experiences being brought to life, so talk to me all about making it and bringing it to TBS.
You know, it's happened so quickly. We signed our deal for it last October, and it's a year later, and we have all 10 episodes shot already. So that is a very speedy, if you know anything about this business in TV,
phenomenally quick turnaround.
super fast pace.
It's like 2 seconds in TV.
It
land.
is.
Yeah.
Kind of is.
And they're ready to go. We're not airing till spring, but we're actually going back to shoot some more for the show. They love it so much, we're actually going to shoot a tiny bit longer episodes. We're going back to shoot additional photography for it.
Yeah. It's freaking awesome.
It's fantastic, yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
When you get into a sitcom, obviously it's a very different format than what you were doing as correspondents on The Daily Show. Was it a big change for you guys?
It was a welcome change. I would say that, you know, Jason and I have been developing projects like this together for many, many years. So it felt like we've always been forward thinking about growth in our careers. So this actually was a very natural next step for us. And it couldn't have happened at a better time. So I wouldn't say it was a weird experience switching to something else. You know what felt great is switching to being
the boss. Felt
You
pretty
are.
good.
You're executive producing
I
it.
know.
How cool is
Yeah.
that?
Yeah,
It's pretty great.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. it's a
Now
good
you
thing.
get to make the rules. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a fun and awful place to be in.
Yeah.
Because everyone hates you.
Yes, it's terrifying.
I caught people gossiping about me on set who I'd never met. They're like, and he's like this. Yeah.
Jason Jones,
I'm like, I'm like, hey, I'm nice to meet you. I'm like, I've never met you. How can you've got something bad to say about me already?
In a world with no guns, Into the Badlands mixes martial arts and sci-fi actions in AMC's newest drama. See what the cast of AMC's new show, Into the Badlands, had to say. It's like a mix of everything. You got some kung fu, you got some sci-fi. Talk to me about being part of the show. It looks really, really good.
Oh, it's such fun to do, isn't it? I think the sci-fi element, you're the most sci-fi element into
Yeah.
it. The moment when the eyes happen,
Yeah,
I think is the big
definitely.
surprise.
Definitely.
And I'd forgotten that when I actually saw episode 1 and I saw the eyes changing.
Yeah.
I went,
Yeah.
yeah, so he's
He's the
very
sci-fi
much,
element.
yeah, he really
You're also
is.
a big part of the martial arts element.
Yes.
Were you already trained in martial arts going into this?
I wasn't. Coming in, I was actually not trained at all. I have basketball background. I played basketball my entire life, so I was used to high impact sports rather than the grace and sort of fluidity of martial arts. So that was something I had to develop in the 6-week training camp that we did.
Yeah, you did
Yeah.
really, really well, actually. I saw, because I was there, not right at the
Yeah.
beginning, but after a while I joined in a tiny little bit. I don't fight and I never did much at all training. But I saw them sort of changing physically and becoming very aware, finding their characters through the physicality of the training. And the fighting style they had lent itself to who they were as moral beings, if you like, wasn't it?
What specifically drew you to getting involved with this project?
Well, the makers, they'd made incredible stuff before AMC, just trailblazers for making really original, interesting things. And Stephen Fung is amazing. Yeah, he's such a genius. And the role is so cool. I've never read a role like The Widow before, and I just immediately kind of felt that I knew what I had to do for that audition and how I wanted to play her. I just had a really strong idea of who I thought she was, and it was really enjoyable auditioning for the role.
You've got some people who obviously have experience with the martial arts genre behind the show, Daniel Wu and some others. Talk to me about what they've been able to do in order to bring this show to life.
Well, the martial arts Hong Kong team are fantastic. They're very exact, they're very calm, they know exactly what they want, they train you accordingly, so everybody slides in nicely and you align what you bring as an actor psychologically and physically into their way of working, and it was a lovely marriage and their expertise is extraordinary, so we were in very good hands.
Kevin Smith's Comic Book Men is entering its 5th season on AMC and shows us life inside his famed comic book store secret stash. See what the cast of Comic Book Men had to tell us. One guy who was out of the trend was Kevin Smith. Talk to me about relationship with Kevin, because he is such an integral part of all of your lives.
Oh, I mean, from the moment I met Kevin, in the 80s, it's just been, he's given me opportunities to do things I never would have dreamed I would be doing. Some I enjoy, some I don't. But it doesn't matter.
This be brutal. Wow. I'm never gonna let another meme coming. What about for you guys?
Yeah, I would say the same as Walt. Like we grew up in a town that didn't really push you towards trying anything other than basically it was you're gonna work at the mill or you're gonna die in a crossfire at the mart.
Mill was there in Highland.
Yeah, a metaphorical mill.
What?
Yeah, what, did the coal mine shut down and now you have to work in the coal? Like, we didn't grow up in 1940s in middle America.
What I'm saying is, you weren't like, at least in my family anyway. Maybe yours were different.
He's avoiding crossfires.
I wasn't even urged towards college, let alone trying anything big. And with Kevin, Kevin always had big dreams, and he sort of took you along for that. Otherwise, you'd probably have a normal job. I have no job at all now, aside from being on TV, so it's worked out well.
And avoiding the crossfires. Yeah. I love that. I'm in tears right now. Season 5, what can people expect?
Crossfires.
Lindsay Wagner. Mill workers, Lindsay Wagner.
Insanity. I can promise you insanity.
A Chewbacca appearance?
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Any Chewbacca, the Chewbacca, Peter Mayhew.
Get out of here.
Yeah, and 4 taggers on.
Hey guys, we hope you had a blast at Comic-Con here with Behind the Velvet Rope. My friends and I are all saying goodbye. Tune in next time.